We're Family Fest, giving our best, empowering families to be the pillars of society. Family Fest, bringing healing and rest to hurting families, bringing help, hope, healing, happiness. With God on our side, we're marching strong, looking out for hurting children all around, and helping good parents carry on. Standing united, we'll overcome. We're Family Fest, giving our best, empowering families to be the pillars of society. Family Fest, bringing healing and rest to hurting families, bringing help, hope, healing, happiness, bringing help, hope, healing, happiness, bringing help, hope, healing, happiness.
Good afternoon. I wish you a wonderful day. I hope you've been having a good day so far. My name is Graham Vaughn, and I'm here on behalf of Family Fest to welcome you to a very special evening. Tonight, we're going to be delving a little bit further into where we started on Friday when we spoke about abuse. We were talking about specifically domestic abuse and trying to deal with it and trying to spotlight it in a way that made people aware that we need to have a greater concern about this evil of domestic abuse, and to ensure that we cut it out. We cut it out. Whatever we have to do, whether we ourselves are the abusers, whether we know folks who abuse, or we are aware of victims of abuse, we need to do something about it. Well, tonight we want to drill down a little bit more with a very brave young lady who has been through the journey. And today she is boldly stepping forward to share with us. You saw her on Friday if you joined us on Friday. And her name is Margaret Martindale. She is the visionary of nonprofit organization Hannah's Missions, a mission that was given to her by God in July 2017. Their focus is to help sharpen the youth spiritually as they guide them into purpose. Hannah's Mission also carries the mandate for deep intercession, along with ministering to the less fortunate in both a spiritual and tangible way. Margaret said God has always been close to her from the time she was a child and when she got baptized as a teen. And she says, and I, having heard a little bit of her testimony, believe it, that God's love for her is the only reason she's alive today. And for that, she owes him her life. Good evening, Margaret.
Good evening.
It is so good to have you again, and thank you for agreeing to do this. I think we need to understand that the Lord was not kidding when he said that the way we overcome is by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And so many people focus on the blood of the Lamb. It's absolutely critical. We can't do anything without it. But he also sent the Apostle Paul to acknowledge that we also have a part to play in sharing our testimony of what God has done in our lives. And today you're going to be doing that. And I'm really appreciative of it.
Okay.
All right, let's get straight into it. Today is all about your story. And I'm going to be taking as back seat as possible, as far a seat in the back as possible. It is your story, and I think you know it best and are best able to tell it. So let's start at the beginning. Why don't you share, even if not the date and time, of course not the name, but the circumstances which surrounded you meeting your former abuser?
Oh, I think, let's see. That would have been around 2000. I think it was 2000 when I had met him. I don't even know what to say about that. We got hooked up by a friend. Our friend is who hooked us up. And we went out and stuff like that. And I don't know, I guess it just happened. That's probably as much as I can say about that. To me, it wasn't like falling in love. No, it was just more, you know, you care about the person, yeah? So it wasn't a love at first sight. I really don't believe in love at first sight. Like, we loved at first sight, but not love at first sight, you know? Love is something that I believe grows, yeah? So, I think that's about how we met and stuff like that. And then a relationship started, which lasted for 10 years, exactly.
Okay, is this the relationship total, or was this the growing part of the relationship you're talking about?
Was it, sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Sorry, was it in total that it was 10 years in total, or was this the growing part of the relationship, the getting to know you part of the relationship you're talking about?
No, it was 10 years in total, exactly 10 years.
Okay.
Exactly. A decade of my life, yes, a decade.
Wow, that's interesting, because sometimes we like to look back and behave as though we understand what a decade is, but when you're in it, is something very different. Yeah. From when you're looking back. All right, so there started to become sparks. They started to become a connection there. Was it he who suggested it, or was it you?
To get him married part?
Well, no, the relationship in general.
Oh no, I think it was just a mutual, yeah, let's do this. It was just a mutual understanding that, okay, we can make this work, yeah? Because we had some things in common, and honestly, it was great company. I cannot say different. He was funny and fun. We would do a lot of things together. You know, remember Sheraton had those games that you can go and you can play. Yeah, we would do it all the time, and you know, it was fun. It was fun, I must say, in the beginning.
Right. So there was fun. Yeah. He was engaging. He seemed a gentleman at first, and y'all got on more or less like a house on fire. How soon into the relationship was the prospect of marriage proposed?
I think that was 4 years. 4 years.
About 4 years in.
Yeah, we were together 4 years before we got married.
So we've made it to let's call it 2004 now. Yeah. Okay. Tell us how you felt when this came up. I mean, I think it is many people's dream to become married at some point in time. How did this affect you when this came up?
Well, I think I was torn between two decisions, because I did pray about it, and I kind of thought you shouldn't, you know, but you know, I think, and you know, I asked God opinion, but then Margaret ain't kicking it there. But Margaret, you know, you was with him this amount of time. I don't see nothing wrong with you getting married. Nothing is wrong with you doing it, you know. And then there's this little nagging, no, and I'm very serious when I said it. There's this little nagging voice that says, you should not do this. But I be honest, I ignored it.
All right, so we come to this place where the decision has been made, and according to you, it's been made against your better thoughts. You had an idea that this might not be the way to go, but you did go ahead anyway. Okay, you're into marriage now, and how soon did it become apparent that things were not going to go the way you wanted them to?
2 months. That was the interesting part. It was 2 months.
Margaret, say that again. 2 months?
2 months. It was 2 months.
Wow.
Literally 2 months. I will not lie.
Okay. And I will remind everybody, of course, this is now live on Facebook at the moment. Any questions you have, please feel free to pose them. We will include your questions as well to Margaret and let her give you feedback directly. That was zero time. That was like 0 to a million in no time at all. That's so. Was there a progression of it going downhill, or did it just happen like that one day?
Well, I would get the occasional curse word, you know, here or there, and oh, whatever, you know, that sort of brushing me off, you know, things I say or whatever, and little things like that. I think this was before the wedding, just after the wedding, I think it was. I got hit with a broomstick, but I'm like a fighter, so I just bounced off when I started to fight back. So that was that was a little battle there. But of course, after all, anything like that, there's always, I'm sorry, that should never have happened. I don't know what I was thinking. Please forgive me. It will never happen again. And that really was how it was. And so 2 months after, we were very good driving, and then all of a sudden just start cursing and getting on. And I was like, wait, what were you? So I know I had heard him mention that he wanted to get some shoes duty free. Anyhow, long story, let me bring it up. He ended up dropping me back home after cursing and getting on. And then I decided I heard he's going to town, so I decided I get in town too. As I said, I'm a little warrior myself. And I searched through town and I found him. Imagine that. I found him, a girlfriend and myself. And he was with a girl, her mom, and the best man for our wedding, which was his best friend. And I went up to him. It was upstairs, Cape Shepherd. I said, what are you doing? This is why you had to curse me and carry on like that. And he was like, Margaret just ordered something. We were in the food court and upstairs, Cape Shepherd. So I was like, what I want is not on that menu. I want to know why you treat me like that today. You didn't have to treat me like that. So anyhow, long story short again, Margaret, end up grabbing some food and hitting me full in the face with it. You know why? And I will tell you why, yeah. Because he looked at me in front of everybody in Cape Shepherd, because everybody know that sitting down there to eat was, of course, looking at me because I was angry. Yeah? He can ask me if I hard up for a man. So something went on up in here.
Wow.
Something went on up in here.
Your husband asked you if you're hard up for a man. 2
months into marriage, yes.
Wow.
Yeah. So that made the food went flying in his face, and we just started to fight. And well, me started to fight with him in Cape Shepherd upstairs. Because it was insulting. How could you ask me that? You just married me and asked me if I heard of a man, because you want to show off, you know? So I remember then I left, and when I got home, then it was another set of argument. He told me I embarrassed him, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, that was basically the beginning of stress. Let me put it out there.
I think we should have drilled down into these questions first. At the time, was he a Christian?
Well, he was Catholic.
Okay, but he attended church. Yes. Did he confess faith? Would you say?
He did. Yeah.
Okay. Was the incident that you're talking about where he cursed you and then took you back home, did that happen in public?
No, it was in a car. No.
That was in the car. But this thing in Cape Shepherd was the first public thing that occurred.
Basically, yeah.
What happened that evening? I mean, you get back out of the public eye. What happens then?
You sure you want to know?
That's completely at you. We can move on if you like.
The interesting thing about it was that when I got home, then he was there. So, you know, he ready to argue and stuff because of what would have taken place. But then after it all, he said, Margaret, can't we make love? And I'm like, wait, you're nuts. Because I still hype, you know? But I don't know if it turned him on, you know, in some form or fashion to see that sort of, how I could put it,
Spunk from
that,
you?
yes, that sort of reaction to something that he would have done. But those were his exact words.
Are you, so was there any talk? I mean, did you sit down and discuss this, or was it just firing things at each other and then all of a sudden he's done with it and he calls you for a hug?
No, but he just started, he felt something at my feet. Anyhow, he was angry, started crying. It wasn't no discussion. It wasn't anything basically to discuss as far as he's concerned. So he started to argue and stuff like that. I said, I'm not going to argue with you. You had no right doing what you're doing or saying what you said. Yeah. And he just cooled down then. And that's when he told me that, you know, the beginning.
All right. Yeah, let me ask this one first. When it happened in the future, was there also always a sense that he was the person controlling the narrative at any time? I mean, even if you were angry, he then shut everything down when he wanted, where you know, you asked to talk about something and he didn't, or he would say, I want to talk about this. And even if you said, well, could you give me a minute? Not right now. He went into it. Was it always a situation where he was controlling the narrative?
Yeah, he was always curse and carry on. And basically, he wanted his own way, point blank. If I didn't want to hear something he was saying, he would come to hit me. As I said, we fought a lot because I wasn't intending to take any hit from him. Yeah, so we fought a lot. Then sometimes I just didn't fight. I just didn't fight because in the end, he's stronger than me. He's a man. He's stronger than me. I put up a fight because my grand said, Ma, if you're in a fight, understand that you're going to get blows, but make sure you give, you know? So I would always try to at least put him my 2 cents, if I could put it that way, because in my mind, I didn't want it to think that nobody beating me up. I prefer it we fighting than to say that my husband beating me up.
How quickly did it come to that point where you just didn't have any more fight?
I think it was probably 3 years after that. Probably 3 years after, because we fought. Honestly, we fought a lot. We fought a lot. But as I said, I started to get tired a lot more as I got deeper into Christ as well. Because one thing I can say, being in that relationship, it really made me push into God a lot more, because it's only him then that became like my confidant. You know, I would talk to him about anything and basically ask his advice on, you know, what to do and stuff like that. I had a really good pastor friend, so she too would help guide me in certain things. And when I tell she want PT, she would tell me, Margaret, vengeance is the Lord. You know, vengeance is myself, the Lord. And I would be like, I hear you, you know, but I honestly got weakened after a while because of all the negative words, all the taunts, all the, you know, insulting things being said and stuff like that. You get weary, you just get tired.
Yes, yes, you would. There are a couple of questions here asking if there were any signs at all in the 4 years leading up to when marriage, when you became married.
One time, I can't remember what we were laying down talking, and I can't remember what I said, but he slapped me on my face. That much I remember. Yep, he slapped me on my face, but I can't remember what the conversation, because it was so long, you know, ago. But I can't remember what the conversation was. But then that was the first time, and that I didn't have any more like that probably for a couple of years. Yeah.
Do you recall do you recall how far along into the relationship that was?
Probably months. I think months into the relationship.
So it was not a staggeringly long time that this thing was hidden from you. It
Yeah.
came up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
What can you go back to Margaret in that time? What were some of the thoughts that went through your head at these moments? Was there a feeling of, all right, he is going to do it again? Did you believe him when he said, I'm sorry, that shouldn't have happened? What came up?
Yes, I did, because he explained to me that his grandfather used to beat his grandmother, right?
Mm.
So he's probably got it from that, and that he will work on it, that sort of thing. And well, yeah, I believe him, because one thing with me, I think maybe to my own detriment, I always start any person that I'm talking to at 100% and leave it up to you to work yourself down. I don't start you down and don't trust you and stuff like that. Then, for you to build your trust with me, I always start you at 100, and if anything, that you work yourself down from there. So I think that was my problem. I'll be honest, that was my issue.
Well, I can understand that. What did your family say? How quickly did anybody outside of the marriage find out about this? Your family, any friends, the pastor that you said you spoke to? And what was the general consensus as you spoke to them, as you related to them?
Well, I had a really good girlfriend. She was a gem. I love her dearly. She walked with me through it all. She would always tell me I deserve better and that he need to slap, but basically that I deserve better and I really should leave him. Yeah. And well, that was like before marriage and everything. Because
before marriage,
before marriage too, because like he wouldn't curse like really, but like you said some little insulting things. Yeah. So and all these things, people say sticks and stones can break my bones, but words can never harm me. That is not true. Words hurt. They really, really hurt. So I used to get the negative words before that, some curse words as well. So that's where she was coming from when she would have said that. But whatever I decided, as my friend, she was there with me for my decision. As I said, maybe that's why I got the little gnawing feelings, Margaret, this is really not for you, but again, because I was loyal, I stayed with him and got married.
Well, there's quite a bit to unpack. And of course, just reminding our viewers that you are watching, especially Family Fest Barbados, our special meetings in this Women's Week when we're focusing on the women. And you can go on the Family Fest Facebook page and direct any questions you have to Margaret. Margaret, you spoke about this particular young lady. What about your family? When they found out, what was their response?
Well, how can I put it? I didn't tell them anything because I'm the eldest, so my siblings, they were much younger than me. I even had my little sister living with me. My brother, he was little as well. So, well, my little sister, she would have seen some of the things, of course, that I would have went through. She was there. And, but my mom and I, we weren't really close to talk like that. My father simply no. So, as for my family, part in it, no. Yeah.
All right. Somebody's asking if if you had any criteria for the man you wanted to marry ahead of time, and if so, if you can be honest about what those were, and if any of this was in your boundaries, okay, this is definitely a no-go list.
Not really, you know. The thing is, I never judged a person based on how they look or anything like that. If I fancy you, I fancy you. And I never said, okay, well, I want you tall, dark, and handsome. You gotta be rich, you know, that sort of thing. That was never honestly me. As I said, if I fancy you, I fancy you. And if you're pretty nice to me, and we can make it work, then yeah, we can make it work. But
Okay.
one thing I can say though, let me just put this out there, is that I grew up without my father being there for me. He was there for me when I was very, very young, but from the time I got about 8, he wasn't really there for me anymore. And I really longed, I longed for that love. I longed for it. And I can honestly say that, like, when I see him, I would shake at him and he would just raise his hand. It would be like, you know, and I would ask my grand, why is it that my daddy don't love me the way I love him, you know? And I think I grew up then always searching for that kind of love from people. I always thought that, like, especially with him, I thought that, okay, well, maybe I can make him love me more. You know, I found that I had that kind of thinking and mentality because I really honestly was searching for that, how I could put it, that father's love that I never really had, you know, being that special one and stuff like that. So
May I suggest that perhaps by father's love, and I've heard this in different scenarios, we're actually looking at unconditional love. We're looking at somebody who will be there for us no matter what. Could that happen?
Yes, somebody that you can confide in, somebody that you know is there to protect you, that you're their princess, you know, you mean the world to them, that sort of thing. And because all I really got from him was that feeling of rejection, I guess, honestly, in my mind, I linked that to love, you know. My understanding then of love got a bit warped, and that much I can admit to, for sure.
There is a link. There is a link, but there are other things, as 1 Corinthians 13 tells us, that are involved. How long were you a Christian at this time? How long had you been in a Christian, and where would you place yourself in terms of maturity in your walk with God?
Well, how can I put it? At this time, as in when we first met, or while we were married?
By the time you were getting married.
I don't think I wasn't as deep for sure as I am now. I had my Christian principles and values, but I know I wasn't as deep as I am now, or even when I was married, because a lot of things that I understand now, I certainly didn't understand then. And my grandmother would always say, you know how the older folks think, when you're married or you're with a person, you know, you're with them for life, you know, that's it. So that is the kind of frame of mind too I came up with.
Was that reflected in the advice you were given throughout the time you were married to this gentleman, to this particular person? Was that generally the advice you got from Christian-minded people?
Generally, only my friend, only my close friend. I want to mention her name because I love her so much, and I want to pick her up for being there for me. Sharon Darlington, that's my girl to the end. Oh my gosh, yes, she would keep it real with me. Yeah, she was a Margaret. Yeah, you talking foolishness. I mean, she will really go down with me.
Is she a Christian?
Yes. Yeah, she's a Christian, so she would really beat it down with me. I mean, you know, to the nitty gritty, but she would say, Margaret, I love you, and whatever you decide, I'm with you, but I just letting you know what I think, you know. Whereas other Christians, there were, you know, you pray and fast, you intercede for your husband, you join other wives and pray for your husband, and you know, eventually God would change him. You know, a man is saved by his wife, a whole set of things that I was being fed, along with the fact that I grew up, you know, believing and understanding when you're married, that's it. You know?
No
So,
divorce.
No divorce. So yeah, as we know with the older folks, you know, they're still in relationships. I mean, come on, the man gone out somewhere with a woman called daddy. And when he's ready to come back when he's older, the wife is still there, you know?
Yeah.
So that's the kind of frame of mind that was like taught to me, you know, but it still battled with who I really was.
It's really sad because excuse me, it indicates an unbalanced understanding of scripture, and not on just your part as the person who was involved, but the people around you. You know, scripture doesn't ask you to make certain sacrifices. It says we should sacrifice, but there are things that it says clearly that's not the way this should be going. All right. Let's bring it forward. You said that eventually you became inured to it, kind of, this is what to expect, this is what happens. And you stayed in it then, because it started 2 months after you got married, 4 years in. It started 2 months after, and you said another 3 years before you kind of just went like, okay, this is it. So there were about 3 years between that time and when God called you out, when God gave you the courage and you found the courage and the commitment to do for Margaret.
Yeah.
Let's get into that period of time, not just practically any anecdotes, any particular stories from that time that come across to you as memorable. Please feel free to share now. But what I really want you to tell us is where you were at each stage of this last 3 years until God set you free.
Well, it wasn't the last 3 years, and it was 3 years after the marriage, but then I still was there for another, let me see, another 4 years. Remember?
Oh, 4. Yeah.
Right. So, what I can say, within that time, in the same 2004 when I got married, I lost my sister. The same one I had mentioned last time, to the same domestic abuse. She was killed. In the same 2004, I got married in February. She got killed in March. Yeah. So it wasn't a good, I don't know. I wasn't in a good place, you know. I just lost my sister as well. So
did the two things ever correlate to you in your mind?
Well, when I got married and then she died immediately after, it was like, well, I can make a mistake. I don't even know why I linked the two together, but I remember thinking that for sure. But not that I am following. You mean like if we were following in her footsteps or anything like that?
Yeah. If you thought, oh dear, could this possibly be looking just like that?
No. I never thought it. Listen, one thing I can tell you, right? I don't know if it's because of who God created me to be, this kind of multi person. Yeah, but I never thought that I would be killed by him. He came over my head at a time. He had a Collins in his hand and he came over me. He came to me and he said, I can kill you just like you sister get killed. And he hit the Collins right over my head, right into the bedroom door. And I stand up right there and I look at him. Honestly, there was a lack of fear in certain instances that I
Or an
had.
acceptance,
Sorry?
or an acceptance of the situation. If this is it, this is it.
No, it wasn't an acceptance.
It
was
wasn't
just
that.
that
Okay.
you are not killing me. It was just that. You know, this was the time that I told, this was not when it was weary. And even then, I didn't believe that he would have killed me. What I then keep saying, and I told my pastor, is that I do not want to die for the sake of my marriage, because I felt my body becoming weaker. I felt my heart start skipping beats. You know, my blood pressure would go up. I had a general feeling of unwell, right? So it wasn't that he would physically kill me. It was more that I would die trying to save the marriage.
Mm. All right. So we're now into this latter part where you have, could you go back over that list? I want people to pay attention to those particular things that you said happened, because I think a lot of people sometimes are in something and not recognizing where they are in it. Could you give that list of how the situation affected you and the changes in your body and mental state?
Well, okay, well, I can say that I got pregnant for him. I think it was 4 times in all. And I ended up losing the baby. I think about 22 weeks, around that sort of time or so, because of the stress and sometimes the fighting, you know, that was going on. 2 of them I had to actually deliver. I actually had to go through labor. Yes.
Knowing all along that you weren't delivering a baby.
A lifestyle, yeah. Yes, I had to warn them. Yeah, so as I said, it was a very rocky relationship. I knew I was in a rocky relationship. I knew I wasn't in a good place in my relationship, but you always think that it would get better. You always pray that it would get better, because after each instant that you found out about, you would talk to him about it. He would say, sorry, you know, I would never do it again. By then, in 2004, when we got married, he had a daughter with a young lady. And I only found out about her later down. I'm right. I found out about her, yes, later down in the marriage. And when I found out about it, I was pressing. So when you realize that I found out, he took the iron from me and actually clamped it on my leg. So my leg instantly swelled up, you know, with the water boil or whatever you call it.
Just because you found out?
Yes, just because I found out, and I asked him, what is going on? Do you really have a daughter? And I still have the mark. I'm not going to show you the white camera, but I still have the mark here on my right leg, and it has, you know, up on the iron got the patterns.
Yeah.
The steam and stuff. Yeah.
No, it's clearly visible.
Yep. And I still like work that day, and I worked with this big boil on my leg. I guess I was trying to be strong in the situation that I put myself into. After a while, it wasn't love anymore. It was just that I was there because everyone telling me it's going to get better. Well, not my girlfriend for sure, but you know, all
this is what a Christian woman does.
Yes, you know, it will get better. So I believe that. So I started this program of praying and fasting for him. And the more I pray and fast, the worse it seems me God. Oh my goodness. He will come home with his keys. Oh my gosh. You name it, you know. I remember one time he came home and he was drunk. My little sister, she was up there with me. And I had cooked some food and he took the saucepan with the food and came and emptied it right in my lap, you know. right in my lap. And I just lick it off for me. So when he realized that, that didn't start me up, because mommy toy started to get tired. So when he realized that, that didn't start me up, he started pelting boxes at my head. So I just said, look, just don't let none of them hit me. And when he realized that wasn't working, then he come now to fight with me, and he had my neck lock off. So I was on the ground and he had my neck lock off, and he was squeezing really tight because I felt the pressure behind my eyes. I felt my eyes like literally want to pop. And my little sister, she was standing up over me, just looking down, and she was crying. And I make up my mind that when he let me go, I was calling him. And when he did eventually let me go, because she was crying, he ran and he went inside the bedroom, because no, he's expecting me to fight, right? So he ran and he went inside the bedroom. So I didn't fight, I was crying. So I went put on some water on the stove, and I was crying. And he came out and he started cursing me again. He cursed me. So when I lunged at him, then he ran through the door, and he was behind the door now, pushing the door so he can get it open. And he was telling me all sorts of insulting things and laughing and laughing. So I went for the hot water, and I was right there by the door. We won't open the door. So I pretended that I walked away, but you know, like you make these steps with your feet, like if you're walking away.
Yeah.
And when he opened the door, I doused that man with hot water. I doused him. He bawled. He had to go down to the hospital. He whole chest and everything did lot away with the water. And you know what? I did not care. You violated me in front of my sister. You didn't care how I felt in front of my sister. You know, and he had to wear long sleeve and thing after that. But you know what? He was happy again. You know, use the woman for me, Margaret. I don't know why he's treating you like this. But you know, the funny thing about it is though, the word of God tells us that we fight not against flesh and blood. And it is hard for us to believe it because we see flesh and blood in front of us. Yeah. But we really do not fight against flesh and blood. There are powers operating behind people that push people to do things to take out other people. Now, some may understand what I'm saying and some will not. But whether you believe it or not, the truth is still the truth. The eyes are the windows to your soul. Anytime you are in a relationship and the person is being violent or abusive, check their eyes. You will see a difference in their eyes. And you will know that that is not the same person that you got involved with. That is not the same person you married. That is pushing that behavior out of that person. So many times when he told me, Margaret, I don't understand why he's treating you so, you know, I believe them. Certain times, because of what I would have seen for myself through his eyes. And I remember that my sister, before she was killed, she would always tell me, Margaret, there's something about his eyes. There's something about his eyes. And I did not understand deep spiritual things. So I said, Ma, you talking bare foolishness. What foolishness you telling me about his eyes? But there is a darkness, a hollowness that follows the eyes of a person that is either murderous or abusive or violent. There is a darkness that follows their eyes.
It is very true, because we are not designed to be like that. And when we are, it takes something away from us. We are less than what we are supposed to be. And it's interesting because the description, even among non-Christians, is that it's hollow, a hollowness.
Yeah.
Just reminding everybody, of course, that you are watching Family Fest 2020, right? And this is a special one-on-one interview with Margaret Martindale. And of course, if any of this seems familiar to you, please contact the relevant authorities. Please speak to somebody you trust. Please get help. Don't stay in it, because although Margaret came out and God brought her out alive, unfortunately, her own sister was evidence that that does not always happen. So please, please be careful. Margaret, let us turn our eyes now. I think you've given us quite a picture of that situation, and even the fact that you were accustomed to it, and you would basically come to the point where you're saying, okay, this is life. It had become normative for you. Let's talk about what woke you up.
Mhm. Let me think on that one. Let me see.
I remember on Friday you mentioned another situation with another child, and
Right.
you said that was part of it.
That was when I was determined to leave. But even before that, um, how this happened? Oh, he was out. I remember I was up. The enemy is something out there. I was up. I made a decision. I'm going to pray and I'm going to fast for him. I had people helping me because remember, praying fasting works. You know, I'm going to save my husband, and I was praying and fasting for him. And my cat, we call her Pussy, right? She was there on the ground, laying down sleeping, and I did so reading the word and praying and stuff. And I was home by myself. He was out, and Pussycat got up and she just went through she stretched and she went through the window behind me. And when she went through the window, I heard, you ain't here so praying and fasting, ain't got no life, even the cat got a life and not you. And I just burst out praying, right? Because I am there pouring out my heart to God. I'm there pouring out my heart for my husband. And even the cat, you understand me, the cat gone up there so enjoying himself, and I ain't here so, stressing myself over a man. And that really impacted on me. And then the night when he came, the morning, he came in the morning time, and I asked him where he was, and he told me don't ask me nothing or whatever. And I started crying, and I remember he cuffed me in my tummy. And I said, but Sean, how you could cuff me and I'm pregnant? I just said that. I didn't even know nothing, right? And he said, well, just go and tell who you're pregnant for, that you're pregnant. I said, well, madness, you talking? I said, Sean, I said, boy, I asked you where you come from. Where you know come from? And he said, and he just cuffed me. I mean, the man cuffed me in my eyes. I had on my glasses.
Wow.
So when he cuffed me, I don't know what happened. I just honestly felt as if my eye got licked out because something was wrong, and I started to scream. And I found my phone and I called another girlfriend. I said, she's something wrong with my eye. I get my eye lick out. Come quick, my eye lick out. So when she and her husband came then to the house, they told me my eye's still in, but I tell her what something is wrong. Something is wrong. I see him funny. So what had happened? They took me to the hospital and everything, but what had happened? The lenses in my eyes had shifted. So I was seeing double out of one eye, right? So I actually had to wear a patch. I had to wear a patch over my eye, and I think that for 2 weeks or so, for the eye specialist told me it was settled back down. Yeah, and I squat for 3 weeks. I think I squat for 3 weeks. And then I realized that my tummy was getting bigger and bigger all the time. And I was like, yeah, it was very strange, So I figured, well, I guess I'm pregnant. So I said, well, this is not good. So I'm going to go and get rid of this baby because I make up my mind I'm leaving him, yeah? So I'm going to go and have an abortion. And something inside me keeps saying, Margaret, you do not want to do this. But I knew that I don't want to be with him anymore, because if he could do this to me, he really, all the love he's telling me, he really don't love me, And I continue, my tummy continued to get big, and I say, all right, I make up my mind. I press the children's school clothes, and I say, I go in this morning, and I can find somebody that can do this abortion for me. And when I went into the bathroom and turned on the pipe, as soon as I turned on the pipe, I heard, Margaret, no. And I mean, really, really hard. And I just burst out crying. So I knew that I couldn't go and have this abortion. So I said, look, to me, if I'm to have this child, I would just have it. I done with that, and I will raise the child on my own, and me and the child will be fine, and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, my girlfriend washed me off and cursed. That's another girlfriend I had. She cussed me straight. She told me, oh, you feel that God in the children met the man stereo and all kind of thing, but it was not that, you know. It was not that. It was that I had a strange feeling that I should not go through with this abortion. So, long story short, after a while, and my tummy keep coming up. I remember I had some pain, some very sharp pain, and I decided let me go and get an ultrasound because I was only like, if I was supposed to be pregnant, it would have been like 9 weeks, but my tummy was really high, like almost like
really big.
4 months. Yeah. So when I went and get the ultrasound, they told me, "You say you're pregnant?" I say yes, because you know, but no, I accepted the fact I'm gonna have this baby, right? So he looked at me, he said, "But I'm not seeing a baby here," and I looking at he like he foolish. You understand what I'm saying? And he looked at me, he said, "You need to go to the hospital right away."
Wow.
And he looked at me and I looking at he, because as I told you, as far as concerned, he talking madness, right? And he told me, furthermore, I'm gonna write a letter and you can take it to the hospital. I said, all right. So I left inside his room and I came outside and they told my girlfriend, they thought they were fair food and he ain't seen a baby. I know what part he trained, blah, blah, blah. Anyhow, so I decided I'm going to the hospital. I'm going to another doctor. So I went to another doctor and the doctor then sat me down and he explained to me that that my left tube was ruptured and that my tummy is full of blood. So all of my blood was draining into my tummy. So he told me that I need to get an emergency surgery to don't go home, to go straight to the hospital. I said, but I feel fine. I don't have any pain. I don't have any problem. He said he understands, but I need to go to the hospital because it's an emergency. So I said, okay. So I left his office and went home. You understand me? Because I felt fine. I felt fine. So I went home, packed my clothes and everything, and I told my husband then that I am going to the hospital again. And he said, okay. And I drove myself to the hospital. And that night, when they examined me, the doctor asked me if I'm in pain. I was like, no. He said, you're not in pain? I was like, no. He said, none at all? I was like, no, that's my skin in my teeth, right? He said, but you know, for the extent of damages you have here, you know that you should be dead. I said, you serious? He said, yeah. I said, cha, right? And that's how it was. Because honestly, despite it was bad news, I felt very light in my spirit, right? So they prepped me then for surgery. And I went, while they were rolling me up to surgery, then I looked out and I saw, as they were passing, I saw the clouds. And I was like, God, you and me right. You and me right. And I smiling. All this doctor doing is looking at me and shaking his head. So when he got me into the operating theater, he said, this is Margaret, the lady that has no fear. I remember he said that. And well, the operation was successful. I lost my left tube, my left fallopian tube. It was successful and everything. So after the surgery, I asked him, I said, I want you to tell me something. If I had gone to get an abortion, what would have happened? He told me he would have died. I said, why? He said, because what they would have been looking to suction out would have been whatever was in the womb, but there was no baby in the womb. So when you had pains or anything after, you would be thinking it's from a complication due to that. But really and truly, you would have died. So I said, okay, thank you. So even in my spirit then, I knew God saved me because it was he that showed at me in the bathroom and told me that, no, you're not going, you know? Because he knew what was going on inside of me. I didn't. And I came out of that alive, healthy, fine. Yes, I'm missing one too, but you know, I'm healthy and I'm happy. And I really thank God for that. I be honest, because I would have gone and made a stupid decision, which many women have made before me and have died. Yeah. And I would have done that as well. And my voice would have been silent. And you know who would have been blamed? Margaret.
Margaret, a lot of people are on the chat. They're responding, and this has affected them considerably. We have about 5 minutes left. You have the chance to sit down with Margaret from 20 years ago and talk with her. I want you to spend next 3 or 4 minutes, just talking to Margaret from 20 years ago, and just look right into the camera and just talk to her and tell her what you know now that you think she needs to know from back then.
Well, what can I say to you? What I can say is that no one knows our destiny but God. And we tend to look for love in the wrong place almost all the time. Because whatever we're lacking, we tend to look for in a person, and that's where we go wrong.
Mm.
God was always with me. He always taught. I literally hear him talking to me constantly, and he was my first love, and I didn't see it. He was the perfect love, and I didn't see it. And everything that I took, I didn't have to take if I had realized my worth and not try to be who somebody else want me to be, or try to make someone love me. It's either they love you or they don't love you. And my girlfriend, as I told you, she would tell me, you deserve better. And to be honest, you deserve better. The word of God tells us that as a punishment to Eve, you will long after your husband. I came to the point in my life where I realized that that curse was playing out with me. I was praying and fasting for him, which is good, but he became my focus. He became my life, and it was wrong. That was not what I was created for. I'm not just created to be a wife or a mother. I am created for a divine purpose. Had I not realized that purpose, I know I would have died. Until we seek to understand how God sees us, we will always only see in black and white. And I would not have stand for the things that I stood for, because I do not have to be with my husband to pray for him. I do not have to be with my husband to intercede on his behalf. I do not have to take insulting words. I do not have to take cursing and say, well, what's he saying now? When somebody curse you, you bless them. You bless those who curse you. There you go. You bless those who curse you, you know? So that was my whole thing. When I'm praying and he come in and he's praying me about praying, and what God you praying to, you know, tormenting me in that way. I didn't have to stay and I accept that. But I thought I did. But I didn't have to. I thought I had to be there to save his soul. I remember I told God, I will count it all joy if you would just save his soul. Everything that I've been through, all the scarring, everything, I would count it all joy. He didn't save his soul while I was with him, but I heard that since then he became a Christian. And I am totally happy for him. And
Hallelujah.
you know, and I would honestly tell persons, as I said, don't stand for foolishness, period. Do not stand for it. Do not let anybody mark up your skin, scare you up, make you feel less than who you are. They love to tell you that, oh, look how bad you look, nobody ain't gonna want you. That is a lie. That is a lie. That is a form of control to keep you underneath their control. Do not believe them. You are beautiful. You are perfectly and wonderfully created. And I saw that in myself, but they had this shadow over me. And because I embraced that shadow, that I could change the shadow, I basically became God. I wanted to change him. And I couldn't.
But that can be done. It isn't your responsibility, and neither is it the responsibility of anybody who is out there watching. And Margaret, thank you once again so much. Absolutely wonderful chatting with you. And thank you for being so open. Thank you for being so raw and real. I think we all needed to hear it. Men and women needed to hear this evening. So thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so very much for being with us in this very moving, very gripping testimony. Please, if any of this is familiar to you, if you are experiencing any of this, please find help. Find someone you trust, find someone you know you can rely on. Go to the authorities. There is help out there for you. And if you are on the side of the abuser, stop.
Yeah.
And if you can't stop, find help. You can be helped as well. The God we serve helps everybody, whether victim or abuser. It doesn't matter. He loves each and every one of you who watch this, and you can become what he wants you to be. Thank you, Margaret. Thank you for joining us. And please remember to tune in for the rest of the Family Fest live, Facebook Live meetings that are coming up this week. Do have a wonderful evening.
We're Family Fest, giving our best, empowering families to be the pillars of society. Family Fest, bringing healing and rest to hurting families, bringing help, hope, healing, happiness. With God on our side, we're marching strong, looking out for hurting children all around. We're Family Fest, giving our best, empowering families to be the pillars of society. Family Fest, bringing healing and rest to hurting families, bringing help, hope, healing, happiness, bringing help, hope, healing, happiness, bringing help, hope, healing, happiness.